Hello everyone, today we're going to be covering how to be sneaky in War Thunder top tier. Today we're playing Realistic. I want to cover a basic couple of things like how to turn off your radar or point it in a different direction than the enemies that you know are there, how to use terrain to overall make your aircraft go undetectable or create a late response within the enemies that kind of know you're in the overall like kind of vicinity, and how to kind of use terrain even to dodge some missiles within the game of War Thunder. Now, as you can see here, I've taken out 2 to 3 enemies just by kind of pointing my aircraft's radar in a different direction, kind of pointing it back just for a solid second to kind of see where some enemies are, and then when we immediately visualize each other, I use the ACM combat mode on my radar and then try and start immediately notching in case he shoots a missile at me. And what this does is it creates a late response that people will normally have during the game, because these people, especially like these little F-14s that are fighting my F-16 right now, they're trying to search for people farther away than me. So when you're able to kind of just push them without their radar on, they don't know that you're there. Normally, when you point your radar at somebody, the RWR of the enemy gives you away way faster than when there's actually you firing at the enemy in the first place. Even those little ticks, most of the time, can give away your position pretty well, because in a lot of RWRs right now, even though there's a nerf coming to RWRs next update when the F117 is added, which we'll talk about in a little bit. For right now, before this update comes out, your RWRs give you incredible information to where an enemy is located in comparison to you. Now, right here, I ended up getting an F-14 that went back to base. He shot off all of his missiles, went back to base to try and rearm, and I caught him. A lot of times you can actually do that too. If you're being really sneaky, you can try and head to their first base, and a lot of people are thinking that they're going to be able to get an easy land. You can catch them while they're either respawning or taking off, even landing too. There's a lot of times where that'll happen. And the best time is if you can catch them when they're right taking off or if they are landing. Now, another aspect of being sneaky, as said before, is using terrain. I can see here that I'm already being spotted by this F-14. He watched me strafe his buddy, he saw me, so he shot a Phoenix at me, and I'm just going to notch it, kind of bring it towards this island if it were to have catched up to me, and then I would have ducked under about the time that it would have impacted me, which is basically what I'm going to do here in a second. Now I see this F-14 and I didn't realize I had a buddy chasing him, so now he goes for him instead of me. Our buddy is flying really low to the ground, so the missile's just tracking to the ground because this game is great. And then he starts turning to engage the F-14, I mean F-16, but he is already here and he didn't see me shoot an A9M at him. But here is actually another F-14. All of my kills so far have been F-14s. I have 5 kills right now, and you can see he shot at me, so I used terrain, and the missile will just guide straight into it because by the time that it is going to impact me, I am behind it. So it has to impact the terrain, and you can use the overall terrain to your advantage by putting terrain in front of you comparatively to whatever missile you're firing. And this works great with radar missiles, even infrared, but the problem with infrared is normally there's going to be an enemy behind you or to the side of you. So by the time that you see an infrared missile, especially stuff like A9Ms, because they have that seeker, you're not going to be able to react as fast in comparatively to another missile. Because radar missiles are normally fired really far away comparatively to, short range infrared missiles. So you have a lot of time to kind of as you can see here, I'm just going behind this mountain. I shot that guy, and then I immediately just took cover, went cold, and now I'm just going to be hiding behind these little mountain roots. You can see this in a lot of games where there is terrain comparatively to a fight sim. If you're able to just kind of camp behind mountains and people start pushing you into these mountains, if they have no cover, you're at a really good advantage because you can just shoot over these mountains, duck back down, defend, wait for that missile to pass over the mountains because it doesn't see you, and then just pop back up and shoot again. Meanwhile, these guys have to go extremely cold or fly extremely low to the ground. Now, for this J11, I didn't know he was here, but I was kind of just trying to engage so that he got off my buddy. Now, because of this, my buddy is actually no, this was the one where I was fired at right here, and uh, this AV8 doesn't know that um, his buddy can actually be locked by this missile too, and he ended up team killing him here. So I really didn't have to do anything. I just made sure that he didn't end up getting behind me and shooting an R-73. Meanwhile, his team actually cleaned up everything for me. Now in this game, once again, I had my radar off, so now I'm trying to use the ACM mode to figure out where this guy shot this missile at, and I see the trail, so I know he's somewhere in this area, so couldn't lock him up, shut it back off, and now I see him. So I'm going to start notching because I'm in a really bad spot right now. I notch the missile while I'm trapping, and then he starts engaging somebody else and dies. Now, I'm starting to get more locks, so I can tell that there's more people here, and there actually is two more. This guy shoots a radar missile at me, so I start notching again, and both of ours go for each other. So I just shoot at another guy, meanwhile flaring and chaffing, because this guy could shoot both right now, and I'm not paying attention. So I shot that AMRAM at that guy who wasn't paying attention and kind of going to us, and then ended up tracking because he was way far into the farm. Now I'm already engaging this other guy, and at this point I really only have one AIM 120 and AIM 9s here, and look at him. He actually used the terrain here so that that AIM 9 didn't end up hitting him right in the behind. So now I am forced to not only waste another missile at him, but chase him while trying to pay attention that no one is chasing me and shooting missiles at me. Now the second one finds him, and after that he's basically dead. I think that was all that really happened during this game. It really just got hectic at the end. And he shot a radar at me again that just didn't track because overall he's spinning out of control and he's not able to get those missiles off effectively. But that was the end of that game. I think I only got 2 kills that game, shot some AI. Um, But continuing on this stealthy, the big part about stealth that you want to realize, especially as the new update is coming out with the F117, is that you're not invisible. Especially with the new technology of stealth in general, I'm interested on how War Thunder and Gaijin implements this because I feel like for other games like VTOL VR and DCS especially, they kind of have like a relatively good take on what stealth should look like, where especially if you've seen a lot of videos of using like the F22 mod and stuff, even though it is mod, it helps kind of determine whether or not a aircraft is stealth by just relatively increasing the range in which you should be able to lock the stealth aircraft. So, for example, in this game, maybe if there is a random fighter jet at around 10 miles and you can see him via radar, well, that same fighter, but now is incorporated with stealth, or it's a different fighter that has the stealth capabilities of something different, may be spotted at around like 6 miles, which is a very big difference when you're thinking about beyond visual range engagements, because this guy could be pointing his radar at you. He's spotted because you know exactly where the radar pings are coming from your RWR, so you can kind of find him and start shooting at him way before he ends up picking you up on your radar, which more or less is kind of the same thing as using terrain and uh, trying to limit your time using your radar throughout the game, because that just makes people not really know where you are. And it's going to be interesting on how they're going to incorporate it in realistic battles, as of course, when you get close enough to a person, they show off their name tags. Either way, though, the way that they incorporate it will be a big jump in what's normal air to air battles will be. It'll be exciting, and especially kind of using like a test subject as the F117 will be great, because you can kind of incorporate it without it blatantly affecting the air realistic battle games, as it's a strike aircraft. So more or less, they're kind of just going to be doing their own thing, and it might corrupt the games a little bit, but overall, I think it'll be a great aircraft to be added, especially ground. And yeah, so this is how you be stealthy in War Thunder. It'll help you get more kills, help you stay undetected, and overall kind of enhance your experience, as it is pretty fun to kind of go unnoticed. Thank you so much for watching. If you stayed to the end of the video, make sure you drop a like. I appreciate all of the support I've been recently. I know I'm still small, but it's really nice to see you guys watching these videos.